So, the two most important questions to ask yourself whenever you're watching content on essences is this. Number one, do I feel like my personality, my vibe fits this essence? Number two, do I feel like this essence just does not fit my vibe even though I know I have the physical features? If you said yes to number two, that's actually quite normal. In my experience, not everybody has a personality or a vibe that matches their exact features on their face, and that's okay. I'm here to tell you that actually your face does most of the work anyway, so if this doesn't fit your vibe, don't worry about it. The essence is coming out here. It does not have to mimic itself here, especially if you feel uncomfortable or you just really don't resonate with this essence, this style essence. But if you said yes to number one, then welcome, because this is where you get to have fun with it. Especially with this essence, today I'm doing romantic essence. If you could not answer any of those questions, that's fine. I'm going to be doing an entire essence series, and so stick around and learn a little bit. Maybe you'll find your essence. So I actually approach essences a little bit differently than Kitchener, although I follow his... Sorry if you can see my dog. Although I follow his labels for each of the essences, I like to approach it really from a psychological point of view, so not just focusing on the features in the face. Yes, that gives you a lot, but like I said, sometimes those things just don't match, and that's okay. What's more important is that your overall vibe, your overall you is being reflected in your outfits. So let's talk about romantic essence and what to wear if you have it. So personality-wise, generally I view romantics as quite flirtatious. They stand out in a room. They're very magnetic. There's just something about them. They've got a real sexy vibe, meaning they could pretty much make anything sexy. It can be as subtle as something in their eyes, like bedroom eyes, cat eyes. It could be the way they speak, the way they move, the way they talk, the way they walk, like their entire mannerisms. It's just something you can't even put your finger on it, but that person is sexy or exudes that sexiness. That's not to say other body or other essences are not sexy, but there's like a sex appeal here. There's a seductive manner here. And there's that kind of undercurrent of that feminine energy. That can go with men and women. Nothing wrong with that. Physical traits are generally that they have like bedroom cat eyes, pretty luscious, rounded mouths, like lips, a little bit of like a softer, rounder face, but not in the ingenue, like Drappery young face. And they have a kind of a more mature, like matured woman and matured man. Again, this is how I see these essences, so this is how I type people. All right, so if this feels like you, then here are some outfit suggestions I would give to a romantic. You want to opt for softer materials like velvets, silks, chiffons, leather, suede, anything that kind of screams to touch it. Because often they're very tactile people and are very touchy-feely. They're very flirty, so that kind of gives that sense of come here, come touch, come feel, that sort of vibe. Drapery, so to me, the drapery kind of signifies, if we want to think of it in like a psychological way, it reminds me of drapes in like a bedroom, in a luxury hotel, luxury spa. Like there's that luxury element to it. There's that sensuality there. Also, that flow of that fabric kind of reminds me of the way they may move and walk and talk. Jewelry, they look pretty good in ornate, like bedazzled or over lots of jewelry. Whereas some people can get swallowed up. For them, it's a bit more of that sensual power that they have versus like intense power that maybe dramatics have. There's a sensual power. They're using that to their advantage. Sort of like a peacocking thing. Doesn't have to be, but they could really handle that amount of jewelry. typically in a delicate sense, something with lots of luxury to it. And again, nods to that femininity that they have. Open necklines, so this can be like an open shirt, collared shirt. It could be heart shape, but just this chest area, the cleavage area, a little bit more open and showed, seen. It kind of is that little hints of, it has little hints of that sensuality, a little bit of that openness that they may have when they talk or with their flirtation and so on. It's that softness. Tousled hair, wavy hair, soft waves flowing. That's all part of that very fluidity in the way they maybe speak, the way they approach things. They're very confident, kind of into that magnetism. Again, like you almost want to touch it. Part of that alluring personality. Now, floral details. I don't think this is actually just for romantics, but I get why this is always suggested to this essence, because think of where we see lots of flowers, weddings, dates, gardens. Those are very romantic things. A bouquet of flowers from a loved one. Like that's a very romantic thing. The flower is associated with femininity, so it totally makes sense why it's in here. Men and women look sensational in it, both as romantics. Rich, juicy colors like reds, emerald, green, jewel tones, black. The reason for this is there's that luxury, that sensuality. You can almost think if these colors would look really good in a velvet or a satin, then it's probably a romantic color. Red and pinks, I mean, they mimic colors that we naturally have, like in our lips, in our eyelids, when we blush. Those really mimic that kind of when you're flirting sort of vibe. And that's typically why those colors are associated with a romantic essence. They don't just belong to the romantic essence, but black kind of gives that little mysterious vibe, that sexy vibe that they can go for. Lace details. Now, again, this is not just for the romantics, but they really shine in it because there is nothing more feminine than lace. It's dainty, it's soft, it's luxurious, it's intricate, and it's beautiful. And actually, when a romantic is wearing lace details and they can wear lots of lace and not feel off, they actually just look put together and normal, whereas some people, when they wear lots of lace and in abundance, they actually can almost feel a little bit too dressed up. Tight-fitting clothing. Now, for me, I personally feel like the men in a romantic essence look better with a little bit more of like openness and that round shape in their outfits versus really tight. But that could just be my own personal opinion. Obviously, if I had a client who really suited that tight-fitting romantic, I would put them in that. But for me, I just find it more romantic when they look almost like, think Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic. His shirt was more billowy than tight. His hair was flowing, you know? But the tightness on the woman around her curves, around her body, there's just a bit more of that. It just lends itself better to that femininity and that sexiness that romantics really have. And that's it for the romantic essence. Just a little taste. Please let me know down below if this is you or you think you might have it. Now, this is just one essence, and of course we're often mixes of multiple essences. Some have it in varying degrees, so maybe you just have a little bit of this. Maybe you have a lot. Let me know down below. If you have any trouble identifying your essence or your body type or even your coloring, I actually offer services online and in person if you're in my area. All my information is down below, or you can just email me if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching and have a very sexy day.